Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming out to Home Coach. I'm sorry that you had to deal with the frustrations of signing in. Please understand, guys, and I appreciate your patience on it as well. This is new for everybody, unusual circumstances that we're in. So we really are trying to get this kicked off. Well, we're the first one in the state to get this going. Again, I appreciate all your patience. I'm Steve Henion. Thank you guys for coming over to Home Coach on it. Sorry if you're hearing some technical stuff like me talking off mic and that kind of stuff. It's just things we're working through. But we got a great crew to help get this thing passed on and give you the best experience that we can give you today. So let me move forward on it. Today, this is the GENUP course, and so I want to make sure that everyone here is not a BIC. So no BICs in the room, okay? If you happen to be a BIC and you need to hop out and join another one, that's fine. Hop out, send us an email. We'll catch back up with you and get you into our next BIC up class. All right, moving forward, guys, what we've got is, like I said, we're trying to bring something to you guys that hasn't been done before. I know there are a lot of other places out there that are trying to teach this online. We here at Home Coach have been working hard over the last couple of years to actually bring this kind of environment to you. It's just that the commission hasn't let us get to that point, right, Tim?
Yeah.
And you'll hear some people offsite. I'm going to introduce those people to you in a little bit. But what we want to do here is bring a team concept to you on it. We've got 3 instructors. Along with myself, we got licensed instructors, 3 licensed instructors on it. I'm going to introduce those to you later. Why do we have 3 instructors? Well, one of them you're going to meet is Tim. You got me. You got Tim Hahn, who's going to be kind of helping the flow, going back and forth on this, helping you with your questions, answering those questions, because what I want you guys to think about is this is kind of like an auditorium, and you've got a mic sitting in the middle of the auditorium and people coming up to speak. Tim's going to be kind of your spokesperson on that. We got 100 people online. I'm not listening to 100 people. You're all going to channel that through Tim, and then Tim's going to bring that to me to be able to produce that out to you. So he's an instructor as well. And then we have another one, Colleen, who's in the back of it, kind of back by the production side, who's going to be answering any questions that you might have on the technical side, but also that's related to real estate. We also have a production crew here, and we've got a producer on it. So a lot of people, I'll introduce those to you later. All of our instructors, just talking about all of our instructors on here, are required to be active brokers on it. They're buying and selling in the industry. Why is that important to you guys? Well, because we want to make sure that everyone is up to date on all the real estate commissions issues. We want to make sure that the stories you're hearing are from today. We want to make sure that you know that they're going through the exact same things that you were going through while you're out in the field. Also, all of our instructors are required to be presenters as well themselves. They've had experience in that. We have people who've been able to speak everywhere from small groups to over 10,000 people. So we're very familiar with being able to present to you, to bring you kind of the entertainment factor that hopefully you're going to experience today. With this live approach, guys, though, I'm going to bring the energy and the humor that we've had in the classroom. Many of you guys have taken us in the classroom, and I know now we're broadcasting across the state. So we got a lot of people, even out-of-state people, who have North Carolina licenses and are doing it. So you might not be familiar with our actual location. So the advantages here, again, I think I've already talked to you guys about the types of instructors on it. About me, a little bit about me. I'm not originally from here. I'm originally from Connecticut, just outside New York City. Moved down here, went to UNC Greensboro back in '83. And then I've worked for Keller Williams and Remax and all before we started the company out here as well. Been a national trainer as well as a public speaker on it. All right. So a couple of things on it. One of the things that we've noticed here too is that things, while we're trying to change, they're still going to remain the same, which means like the check-in process. And part of what we're going to have to get from today, you guys, is you're going to get a survey from us. either later today or tomorrow morning, is we need you to comment back as far as what you liked about our experiences, how we can improve. We want to know that. But also, guys, this is all new for the commission. And I know many of you, and I've talked to several of you guys on the phone too, and other folks around have talked to you guys, is that this is an emergency procedure that's gone through, meaning it ends on June 30th. And what we'd like to do, I think, what we'd like to do is be able to have distance education be a permanent thing in the commission. Some of the things like the processing where you had to come in today and you had to show your ID card and it just took a long time to process people. Those kinds of things, I'm hoping that the Real Estate Commission we're going to be able to fine tune and work through this. They're under the same thing. They're kind of under emergency procedures. They're trying to figure out how to work things through just like we are too. Let's see, what else? Breaks. We're going to take a break every 10 minutes. Every 10 minutes. So the next one's going to be at 9:50. 9:50 we're going to be able to have one. You can count on that starting at 10 minutes till, and then we'll start right back on the top of the hour. Okay? So during that time, don't sign off. Stay on. Go get coffee, use the bathroom, whatever you got to do. Check on the kids. However you want to handle it, fine. Leave your computer on. Because if you log off more than twice, then you're not going to get credit for the course. And these are commission rules that we're putting out there, guys. These aren't home coach rules and stuff. So make sure you stay on, get up, go do something, leave your screen on. It's important that you leave your screen on too, because we're also required to periodically go in and check and make sure people are there. I get it. You're like, oh, well, I had to go use the restroom in the middle of the presentation. I came back in, you missed me. Don't worry about it. We're all good. We're all working through it. This is the first time, but just try and keep that in mind. Questions during the presentation is you're going to chat with Tim Hahn. You'll see him. He's logged in as Tim Hahn on there. And so I want you can either chat to the entire group, like send a question out that everyone can see. You've got the things like raising your hands, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you guys want to do. Communicate that way. Keep your mics off on it. Just keep your screen on, and then send your questions. If you want something like, say, well, I'm not so sure if I want everyone to hear my question, then you send it directly. You can direct chat to Tim Hahn. That's H-A-H-N. Tim Hahn. He'll do it and he'll screen through those things. A little bit of the etiquette if this is the first time kind of being online and doing kind of a webinar. And I know many of you have done it before too, but we've already signed in. Make sure you use your headphones on it. We've already talked about muting your mic on it. And you're going to hear background. We've got live mics all around the room for people to inject. We want to make this a fun environment for you guys. So when you hear other people laughing at me, you understand. But on the questions, make sure those questions are concise because it is a chat. It's like a text. Just get to the point. Don't ramble on about, me and I was in this, I have my aunt Wilma is out there making an offer on a house. And just get to the point. Get your question to Tim so that he can go ahead and ask that question on your behalf, all right? If you run into technical issues, if all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, it just got cut off. I got to log back in. Fine, log back in. You'll get onto the waiting room in there, they'll log in. If you can't if something is just something you can't figure out, this number that's on the screen is what I want you to text to. Text to that number. It's sitting in the studio here for someone to answer you back on. Okay? Guys, see it? 919-649-7667. Now, if you just want to text and blow up the phone that's on there, have at it. But we're trying not to do that because we got someone who's answering texts and other stuff. Also, check us out on Facebook too, guys. I know it's a little plug, but this is where we're going to be pushing a lot of our streaming, a lot of the new content that we're putting out there for you guys at Home Coach School. Facebook is at Home Coach School. We're going to record, meaning we're going to send to the commission tomorrow that you completed the course. Okay? Give the commission, especially in these times, up to 30 days to show that on your personal portal. Okay? It's going to take that long. It could easily take that long for them to do. They're also working off-site. They aren't used to being able to work away from the home. People are setting up their own home offices. I talked to some of the commission people last night. They're just trying to set up their home office. So if it doesn't show up in like a week, then email me, and I'm the only one here at Home Coaches that's going to be able to help you. Write down my email address, email me, and say, Steve, it's not showing up in a week, and I'll personally look into it for you. They've been good, but again, guys, this is the first time ever that this is being allowed in the state. So I'm just assuming that there's going to be some bugs and maybe something will happen. But give it a week before you email me. All right. So some of the folks that we're going to show, we're going to pan the camera around here. The first one on the screen is Tim Hahn. So Tim is one of our licensed instructors on here. He's the one who's going to be taking your chat calls and everything like that. The second on there is actually our production guy. His name is also Tim. We're not going to show him on screen. You can see that's the best picture you can get of him on there. Then we've got Jessica, who's been taking some of your photos over there. She's our producer. She's the one who's making sure everything is going smoothly as possible on here. Okay? So you hear or get chats from her regarding technical stuff, but we're making sure between Tim, our production, and Jessica, our producer on it, everything's going to flow through for you. The other person in the room is going to be Colleen. She's the behind the scene, also a licensed instructor. She's the one who's receiving all your texts and chats and everything like that. So and we're trying to make sure everyone is buttoned up on the technical side. All right, so here we go. Everyone ready? I know it's only been 30 minutes. 30 minutes before we get into the 2019-2020 GENUP, which everyone's been excited. So what are the topics? You ready? All right, we're starting off on the first one is going to be competence. Competence. We are actually into the program now, folks. Competence. Why do you think we're talking about competence? Why, Tim, why are we on competence?
Probably because perhaps some of our brothers and sisters out there are slightly incompetent. And the commission thought it was time to
That's true. Incompetent, right.
Complaints are up, right?
Complaints are up 300%. 300%. It's insane. Well, and part of it is because, well, now you can do it anonymously. So maybe some of your fellow realtors are out there sending out complaints. You can do it anonymously. They don't get the feedback from the commission, but they can do that. The other thing is that there are just a lot of ticked off people in the world. I mean, you can just see it today. There's just, I mean, actually, and I don't mean today like on the you guys signing in, but it just in general is people are just upset. And I get it. Some of it is, I mean, we've got, we're in crazy times. We're in crazy times with the virus and all. But remember, the complaints go back, right? So they go back prior to the virus and stuff.
Hey, Steve, is this some of the stuff with the regarding competence? This is something where the commission is kind of trending this stuff over multiple years, and now that property management didn't make the cut this year, it's like some of these topics have kind of cycled in that they've been wanting to get to for some time. Yeah,
that's a good point on it, Tim. So it's just the storm. Is that it's kind of like the perfect storm where now you can have it's easy to bring up competence on it or to make a complaint on it, but something I say in our real estate, and by the way, you know, we also have a realty company as well on it. So I'm a broker in charge. I'm out in the field just like you guys are too. I practice what I preach, so I'm out there. I know what's going on as well as what I require out of our instructors. And guys, I would say my personal thing is people are going too fast. You know, when we have a low unemployment rate and people got money and they're spending and want to do stuff, we're not slowing down to dot the I's and cross the T's. And we're going to get to that. We'll get to that in a little bit. Another topic we're going to talk, it's third year in a row, we're talking about material facts. We're just not getting it squared away of what's a material fact. and who and what parties we need to express these material facts to. And I think you're going to find out there's some shockers in there that you actually, and honestly, just didn't realize were supposed to be material facts and disclosed. Next is going to be home inspections. And we're going to spend some time on home inspections on it. I don't know about you, but it drives me crazy when I get an inspection report with 90 items from cracked faceplate to dripping faucet on there. But we're going to talk about home inspections on that. Those three main categories are going to take up a majority of our time today together, okay? Then we're going to have some other things that are going to be in there. We're going to talk about a little bit about wire fraud. The one thing I'd say about wire fraud, it's bad. Okay, and then law and rule changes, we're going to talk about that. Licensing and education, wrap it up with that. All right, we're all good? Tim, Colleen, Jess, Tim, everyone good? All right, fantastic. Let's get into competency and license. And so guys, I want you to look at your PDF files. Hopefully everyone's got their PDF files and you're able to view it on it. I'm going to look at the first thing is on page 1, numero uno on that. And what we've got is Tina. The lovely Miss Tina. She says it's a provisional broker. She's with XYZ Realty. She's got a client who wants to purchase commercial property on this. Okay? Tina has only worked in residential sales since she was licensed, and she has not completed any post-licensing or other education. Question here is, how should Tina proceed with this prospective client? I'll give you 10 seconds to fire off to Tim. What do you think Tina should do? How should Tina proceed with this prospective client? This is an opportunity for you guys to check out your chat thing and sending out questions and kind of around with the Zoom on it. And I know everybody's on Zoom. Your kids are on Zoom now. It's the big thing. So hopefully we're all going to get very familiar with this product. And if you hadn't bought stock prior to this on Zoom, it's probably a good time to get in on it. All right, Tim, do we have any answers for us?
They're blowing up. Refer this person out.
Boom! Thank you guys thank you for participating on it. Awesome. Yes, refer this person out. And that doesn't mean you can't be in on the action. In fact, the best thing for you to do is not only refer it out, but be able to tag along with that particular person. Learn from it, get the experience. And one thing that you're going to see when we're talking about competency on stuff is while our license allows us to sell any and do any kind of real estate anywhere in the state of North Carolina, the question is whether you should be doing it. And if you ask yourself whether you should, is that you say, yeah, I should, then the thing is, well, do you have the experience in order to go ahead and do that? That's the critical thing. And I'll actually get you into a personal experience that just happened this weekend with my family. So hopefully, Tim, you can remind me about this. All right, let's look on the number 2 here. We got Tom. And if you all see that some of these folks that we've got in here as pictures happen to be like a little bit older than our millennial group, I apologize for that. I'm not a millennial, so I'm just picking folks I know. So here's the thing. We got Tom. Tom's on there. He's a BIC. He wants to add property management. Perfect. Wants to add property management, so he goes out and looks for talent to hire property management, to do his property management. So he finds some talent, hires the talent, and the question on here is, did he take the right steps? Did Tom take the right steps as a BIC? Think a little bit through this. Did Tom take the right steps? And you got 10 seconds. Send Tim. If you hadn't had a chance, try and step up and send Tim an answer. What do you think? And I know while you're doing this, you know that I can't see the answers you're sending. So when you want to send jokes and little snippets ragging on me, that's fine. Have fun at it. I'll get back at you later. All right, Tim, what do we got?
Well, folks evidently are taking the high road because they are saying that he did take some good steps, but maybe not as far as he could go.
Well, that's outstanding. Yes, he did a great job. He went out, got the talent. The one thing the commission would say is that, hey, when you go and hire that talent on it, you got to make sure that the talent that you hired is actually competent in being able to do what they want to do. So property management, guys, you know this. We've talked about property management. Tim mentioned earlier, it's the first time we're actually not talking about property management in 11 years. 11 years. But they still comprise, property managers out there comprise half to 80% of all all complaints in the back of the bulletin that you find out on it. So my heart goes out to property management. It's a tough job if you're a property manager out there. A tough job. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But make sure that the talent, if you're going to have them run your property management, that you actually know that they ran the property management company that they were on, or they did the trust accounts if you want them to do trust accounts. All right, let's move on to number 3, Sue. You all know Sue, a little irritated Sue. Sue, she's a full broker with 123 Real Estate. She has only worked on commercial transactions. So this is going to be a little bit of a flip from the first question on it. Sue's only worked with commercial transactions, but she has someone who wants to be in residential. She's like, and she says, what does she say here? She says, Beth tells Sue, hey, you can't work with a residential buyer on your own. I'm going to assign you another experienced agent. And you know what Sue's thinking. Sue's thinking, what? I don't want to be splitting no commissions. Well, we know what she, right? So the BIC's like, hey, you don't have the experience. So Sue protests, y'all. Sue gets a little agitated. She's stating that the majority of her pre-licensed, post-licensed education is focused on residential, so she feels competent to handle the transaction. 10 seconds, guys. Send Tim a note. What do you think? Is Sue or the BIC correct? Sue or the BIC correct?
Steve, this is a smart group. I don't think we got to wait on this. Everybody's saying the BIC.
Everyone's choosing BIC. Well, hey, that's awesome.
12.
That's awesome. So BIC is correct. Look, here's the thing. BIC is always correct. No matter whether you think he's correct or not correct, he or she, they are always correct. Whatever the BIC says is going to go. So perfect. We got on that. All right, so let's move. Good, perfect. Let's move on, guys. We're going to go on to page 2. We're moving at lightning speed. Going to number 2 on here. What I want to show you guys, well, we've already kind of talked about our learning objectives. Key terms. Agency, and I know this is going to, you all are going to be like, look, I've been through pre-license. I've been in the business 27 years. I'm 200 years old. I get my dues paid for free by the realtors. I don't have to do. All right, agency. I want to make sure that we're clear on the agency part, which means on agency, who are the contracts with? Who are the contracts with? Tim?
Contracts are with the firm, not the agent themselves.
Right. You all know who I'm talking about. You know the agents that are out there. Agents are what? Sub-agents of the agency on there. And you all know what I'm talking about. You all know, you know the agents like, these are my clients. These are my people. I don't share no information with anybody else. These are my folks. Well, they're not your folks. In fact, as a sub-agent, you are actually, I know this is going to suck hearing, but you are actually expendable. Meaning you can move on, they can punch you out, and then all of a sudden bring in a new agent and put them in place, right? So let's keep that in focus when we're talking about writing up our contracts out there. The other one is who the principal and the client is. Principal and the client versus the customer. Customer is going to be the third party person. Principal and client is going to be the person we actually have the agreement with, right? They're a customer until we get that agreement. All right, then we've got the agent, that's you, the agent on it. Okay, we're talking about fiduciary. Now this is back on page, what are we on? Page 2. Old car, loads, those kind of acronyms is what I'm about to start referring to. If you see on the bottom of page 2 down there, we see things that are about being loyalty. It's actually one of the top qualities I look for in my friendships. It's ones that I look for in folks that work with me on it is loyalty. All right, think about it. I know just think to yourself just for a sec. You don't have to write into Tim on it. Just think to yourself. Can you describe being loyal without using the word loyal in your description? Just think about it. How would you in your head describe loyal? Tim, what would you do?
I'd probably say have the best interests in mind for my friend or my client.
Yeah, okay, and best interest. So, like, if you were to relate it to real estate, what would that be? Like, what would be some of the things that would be your best interest? If you were thinking about them, their best interest.
Protection. Protecting them from themselves, protecting them from folks who are going to, be looking to engage in this transaction with them, provide an offer, or vice versa, depending on which end of the transaction they're on.
Perfect. Yes. Protect, that's great. It's actually part, I guess, within the fiduciary responsibilities of it on it. But when we're talking about protection, guys, it's not just about things that are going to be beneficial. We need to be able to communicate to our clients good and bad. We need to be able to give them all the information. You got it. The way I use the word rock. We have to be the rock in the transaction on it. We can't let things phase us. We can't get upset. We can't get emotional about it. We have to be almost non-emotional to the side of it, and then keep feeding that information, good and bad information, to our clients, so that they can make the best decisions for them and their families on it. And part of that, though, that information is making sure you're competent, circling back around to the top, competent in providing that information. Look, the only thing, guys, that stands you out from someone going online and doing a Carvana buy for a house is your knowledge. There is no reason anyone needs to go to you if you're going to be keying and punching in information just like someone could by bypassing you, which would also mean bypassing paying you, which means the industry's gone. You are being paid for your knowledge. That's what you're getting paid for. That's why the first thing we're talking about today is competency on it. Next thing is maintain confidentiality. I think, would you agree, Tim? I think most people understand the word confidentiality and where we're going with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Next is operating in good faith. Good faith. What do you think about this? What do you think good faith? Take a minute and send Tim. What do you think about operating in good faith? Because it seems so... Oh yeah, I'm operating in good faith. Of course I do. I love my clients. I love showing houses. Y'all know the reason I got into this business because I just love to show houses. And we all know that that's fine the way you start out, but it only takes you about what? Like one transaction to realize like, oh heck no. Some of this stuff is going to go south. No. And so I want to know, what do you think is operating in good faith? Or maybe go to the inverse and say, give Tim an example of not operating in good faith. Just take about 10 seconds and send Tim a note.
Looks good. Man, I love these answers. Integrity, honesty, good communications, ethical, transparent. Awesome stuff, guys. Thank you for sharing on that. We're going to circle back around because that also gets into. It's going to lead into. I'm going to get over some. I'm going to explain a little bit how operating in good faith and the disclosure of all material facts. Now, what's interesting is we're going to talk. We got a whole segment about material facts that's going to come up on it. So I'm going to kind of skip over material facts for a sec, and I want to get to this slide here, which is actually one of my most favorite slides of this section is skill, care, and due diligence. If you look down at the bottom of page 2 on your thing, agency law requires, and let me also pause for a second. When we're going through stuff, and I've been doing this a long time, many of you out there have been out here a long time, you've been coming to these classes for years on it, is that very rarely does a commission put out definitive things, meaning it doesn't say you must do it this way. Square footage, right? Tim, when it says about square footage, what does they say you have to be? It begins with an A. The square footage has to be accurate. Oh, accurate.
Yeah, okay, yeah, right. It's not a 3-letter or 4-letter word. It was accurate. It has to be accurate. Okay, so it has to be accurate. But then the commission says what?
I love it when you answer my questions, by the way. I always get it right.
When they say to go accurate means what to the real estate commission?
It's within a percentage.
Right, 5%. 5% is that. So now could it be off by 6? Could they hammer you for being off by 4? Yes. It's kind of a, hey, hi, want to be off by 5%. Okay? It gives you that kind of leeway in there. Commission has a lot of things within the rules that kind of like, you have to kind of wade the waters on it. I'm going to point out some stuff in this lesson, in today's course, guys, that are definitive, where they're not having any leeway on this, where they're going to use the words required on it. And these are things where I, as a BIC, as well as a broker, you need to pay attention to, because I think these are things that they are not going to play around with. So the first thing, or at the bottom of page 2, it says agency law requires, so it's already in law, that the other agent exercise a high degree of skill, care, and diligence. Now, I know many of you aren't from Raleigh area on it that are joining us on here today, so I'm going to have to ask you to bear with me as I give some examples to you. I could probably pick out some from different areas of the state, but just hear me out as far as Raleigh goes. In Raleigh, especially North Raleigh, we have an area called Midtown of it that's in North Hills, which happens to be a very big area, hot area in town here. I know we only got a couple minutes before our break, so before I get into it, I want to make sure if I was to ask someone here to sell me a house, I want to spend $700,000 on a house in North Hills. Is there anyone, just give a thumbs up to Tim, is there anyone who would not sell me a house? Who would not sell me a house? Tim, take that note. Do we have anyone not? If you live in the area, let me do that. Let me say if you live in the area, not selling. Because here's the thing. If you live in this area, and you were going to sell, and what I mean by live in this area, folks, I know there are people that would be within a 30 to 40 mile radius that would probably be willing to sell me a house for $700,000 at a commission somewhere around $20,000 on it. Now the key is when we get to the skill, care, and diligence part is whether you should actually do that. Because I know we've had classes, in-class stuff, everyone around from this area coming in here, and I'll ask about this. If you want to sell me this house in North Raleigh, then tell me about the stuff. Do you know about Midtown Exchange going up? Midtown Exchange. If you can answer yes, then you're doing good so far. If you answer no, then you shouldn't be selling me a house in North Raleigh. If you don't know about the $1 billion project that's going up with its own convention center, then you should not be selling a house, because that's actually on the same road where North Hills is. It's St. Albans Road, and some of you, it doesn't matter to many of you out there, but you need to know about it. If you answer that question, you're like, yeah, Steve, I know about Midtown Exchange. All right, next question. Tell me about the railroads. Tell me, what are we doing with the railroads? Tim, what are we doing? Do you know, what are we doing about the railroad? What's happening with railroads in North Raleigh?
That would be the light rail.
The light rail. So you got to know, whoa, yeah, Steve, we're going to get...
Go over, roads that go under. What's happening?
That's exactly right. Roads...
Adjacent property, all that stuff. It's relevant, especially.
Yeah, we have...
value to your client who's going to buy, $750,000 house in North Raleigh.
It's exactly right. You got to know about the rail. We got a light rail system that's coming through. You're like, well, that's the day when I see those trains coming through. Well, what you got to know is the fact that you got 3 major arteries that are being worked on, already scheduled to go under improvement in June. Right? 3 major east to west arteries that are going in there. The city of Raleigh has decided all intersections with roads that are crossing over railroad tracks are going to have to either roads going over or under. All of them. Why? Because they don't want, everyone's out there walking out, keeping their 6 feet distance, right? Social distancing. They don't want to be walking with Fido and there goes Fido hit by a train at 120 miles an hour. So we're going to be moving cars over or underneath the bridges. Well, you got 2 major arteries that are going to start in June. They've already bought up houses and firefight. Okay, what's my point? My point is, if you didn't know that, if you don't know the details of all that, you should not be selling a house. Is it going to make a difference if that road is going to be elevated 6 months from now, 40 feet up in the air? Is it going to make a difference to the neighborhood surrounding? Yes. This gets to the skill, care, and due diligence part on that. And on that, we're going to take a break, and we'll see you at 10 o'clock. Do not shut off your video. Thanks, guys.